Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. Consider the following statements with respect to coal bed methane. It is an unconventional form of natural gas found in coal deposits or coal seams. It is a primary clean energy source of natural gas. The extraction of CNG reduces explosion hazards in underground coal mines. Coal bed methane has high level of hydrogen sulfide. Which of the statements given above is are correct? The answer to this is 1 and 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the PIB makes a reference to coal bed methane, which is why we have taken this practice question. Let us try and understand what are these statements. When you look into the first statement, the coal bed methane happens to be unconventional form of natural gas. Yes, it is found in coal deposits or what is also called as coal seams, and this happens to be a clean energy source of the natural gas. When we speak about coal bed methane, it is also called as coal bed gas. It is also called as coal seam gas. It is also called as coal mine methane as well, and this happens to be a natural gas extracted from the coal bed. So the first statement is right. When you look into the second statement, the extraction of CNG reduces explosion hazards in underground coal mines. This statement is once again right. When we look at the coal bed methane, what it also possesses or has is called as the methane gas. The methane gas is found trapped in the fissures in coal, and extraction thus reduces the explosion hazards in the mines, and thereby it reduces the risk that is associated for the miners. So because there is large amount of methane that is associated with the coal seams, and if it is so extracted, this will obviously reduce the impact or the risk associated because of the explosion. And third, coal bed methane has high level of hydrogen sulfide. This statement is wrong. When you consider these coal bed methanes, it is also called as a sweet gas. Why? That is because it lacks the hydrogen sulfide. So the natural gas or the landfill gas can be termed as the sweet gas primarily because it has very minimal traces of hydrogen sulfide. In fact, it also has minimal traces of carbon dioxide as well. So coal bed methane has minimum level of hydrogen sulfide, and it does not have high level of hydrogen sulfide. So the third statement is wrong. First and second statement are right. So the answer to this would be 1 and 2 only. Now let's look into the next practice question. With respect to Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, which of the following statements are correct? Under this scheme, farmers will have to pay a uniform premium of 2% for any crop they cultivate in any season of the year. Pest infestation and theft that causes loss is covered by PMFBY. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is none. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference to PMFBY in the PIB article. Let us try and understand what are these statements. When you look into the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, what is it? It is an insurance program that is taken by the government of India for the welfare of the farmers. What exactly happens? There have been a number of schemes in the past. These schemes were not addressing the root cause of the farmers issue. So in order to overcome all these issues in the form of one nation, one scheme for the insurance for the farmers, what they came up with is called as the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So this happens to be an insurance scheme. So in the past, because of the drought-like situations, because of the cyclones, because of the hailstorms, farmers used to lose a lot amount of yield. They used to also lose the money as well. In order to compensate them, what the farmers will have to do is pay a certain amount of premium in case of crop losses because of hailstorm, drought-like conditions, cyclones, so on and so forth. Because they have paid the premium, there is insurance that is provided to their crops, which is called as the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So what are the objectives of the scheme? One is to provide insurance coverage and financial support to the farmers in the event of crop failure when there are natural calamities, pests and also diseases. The other is to stabilize the income of the farmers. Third is to ensure that they also adopt to innovative and modern agricultural practices, and also to ensure that there is free flow of credit to the farmers so that this can prevent them from the losses. So the first statement reads, under this scheme, farmers will have to pay a uniform premium of 2% for any crop they cultivate in any season of the year. This statement is wrong. They will have to pay a uniform premium of only 2% for all kharif crops and 1.5% for the rabi crops. So it is not uniform, it is different for the kharif as well as the rabi crops. So the first statement is wrong. When you look into the second statement, pest infestation and theft that causes loss is covered by PMFBY. This statement is partially right, partially wrong, but overall it is wrong. Why? That is because when it comes to Fasal Bima Yojana, yes, pest infestation is covered, but theft is not covered. So what is covered and what is not covered? Local natural calamities like landslides, hailstorms are covered. Calamities leading to loss of yield like floods, dry spells, droughts, etc. are covered. Pest infestation that causes yield loss is also covered. Losses that occur after harvesting crops can also be covered under this scheme, but losses occur due to war or similar hazardous activities, loss of yield due to the act of enmity or riots, yield destruction caused by domestic or wild animals, contamination due to nuclear risk, malicious damage leading to yield carnage are not included. And at the same time, if theft is done, that is also not covered as part of the scheme. So remember, the PMFPY basically covers the losses for these and does not include losses occurred due to war, hazardous activities, enmity, theft, so on and so forth. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following is are correctly matched? Seco or Kamau upgrade the skills of minority women in the age group of 18 to 25. Ustad preserve the rich heritage of traditional arts crafts of minorities. Naya Savera scheme special coaching for qualifying examinations for admission in technical or professional courses and competitive examination. Which of them are correctly matched? The answer to this is 2 and 3 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference in the PIB article where there are a couple of schemes that are mentioned as part of the initiatives taken by the Ministry of Minority Affairs. So what we have is Nai Savera scheme. What we also has is Amari Darohar scheme. So according to Nai Savera, this is a scheme that is implemented by the Ministry of Minority Affairs, which stands for Free Coaching and Allied Scheme. This will assist students or candidates belonging to 6 notified minority communities, which include Sikh, Jain, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, and Parsi, by way of special coaching for qualifying examinations for admission in technical and professional courses, and also competitive examinations for Group ABC services and other equivalent posts under central and state governments, including public sector undertakings, banks, and railways. So, this happens to be one of the initiatives taken by the Ministry of Minority Affairs, where those from the minorities will be provided free coaching. This is the first statement. This happens to be the Naya Savera scheme, and if you look into the third statement is correctly matched. The second statement reads Ustad, which is to preserve the rich heritage of traditional arts and crafts of the minorities. Yes, this statement is right. What does Ustad stands for? It stands for upgrading the skills and training in traditional arts and crafts for development, and this is where it is helping the craftsmen, some of the people who are involved in some of the traditional work, let's say for example the weaving or the artisans, where this particular work has been passed on from one generation to another. They have traditional ancestral work. So what the government is trying to help is to make sure that their product is also reintroduced into the market. So they are providing funding so that this traditional ancestral work is carried from one generation to another, and their product is also sold in the market. So they are encouraged as part of the Ustad scheme. The first statement reads Seco or Kamau upgrade the skills of minority women in the age group of 18 to 25. This statement is wrong. Why? That is because it is not just restricted to the women. It is a skill developmental program for the youth. It is not just for the women. It is for the youth, and it is for the age group of 14 to 35 years and not 18 to 25. Since the first statement is wrong, second and third statement are right, the answer to this would be B. Now let's look into the next practice question. With respect to single-use plastic items, which of the following statements are correct? India has banned the manufacture, import, stocking, distribution, sale and use of all single-use plastic items. The ban will be monitored by CPCB from the center and the state pollution control boards that will report to the center regularly. Those found violating the ban can be penalized under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 2 and 3 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference in the PIB article. Let us try and understand what are these statements. When you look into the first statement, India has banned the manufacture, import, stocking, distribution, sale and use of all single-use plastic items. This statement is wrong. Why? That is because it is not all single-use plastic items, but there are selected items that have been released by the notification of the Ministry of Environment. Those items have been banned. So it is not all items. Now the question is, what is the single-use plastic? As the very name denotes, using the plastic for one single time and discarding it is what is called as a single-use plastic. So basically, those items that are used once and then discarded is what is banned by the Ministry of Environment. So we have the Ministry of Environment which did issue a notification which banned manufacture, import, stocking, distribution, sale and use of selected single-use plastic items. So it is not all, but it is selected items. So the first statement is wrong. When you look into the second statement, the ban will be implemented by Central Pollution Control Board from the central level and by the state pollution control boards that will report to the center regularly. This statement is right. When you look into the third statement, those found violating the ban can be penalized under the Environment Protection Act. Yes, this statement is once again right. So we have those people who would be violating these guidelines and the items prohibited and continue to use them. They can be penalized under Environment Protection Act. So violators will be asked to pay a certain penalty. They can also be pushed behind bars as well. So penalty may go up to 1 lakh or more as well. And sometimes penalty can also be imposed. They can also be thrown behind bars as well. So such penalty can be imposed under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. So third statement is right. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following pairs are correctly matched? We have waterfalls on one side, the river on the other side. Kapildara Falls, Godavari, Jog Falls, Sharavati, Shivanasamudram, Kaveri. Select the correct answer using the code given below. The answer to this is 2 and 3 only. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2008. Yes, Jog Falls is on Sharavati River, Shivanasamudra is on the Kaveri River, and as part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section on which river is the Kapiladhara Falls located. Please put it on the comment section. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is Parvatmala program. Let us try and understand what is this Parvatmala program. Parvatmala, as the name denotes, is nothing but garlanding the mountains. This happens to be an initiative of the Union government, which is also called as the National Ropeway Developmental Program. So Parvatmala is called by a name, National Ropeway Developmental Program. What is the objective? The objective is to construct ropeways in all the mountainous terrains in India by making use of the public-private partnership. What is this Parvatmala? When you look at the mountainous regions, what we have is lot of congestion. Congestion in terms of what? We would not be able to construct any number of roads in these areas. Why? Because it is mountainous regions. More the development, more could be the cause of trouble as well. Why? Because you have the mountain regions, you have to hit the mountains, you have to destroy a certain ecology as well. And at the same time, you cannot also construct railways as well. So what is an alternative? How can we build another source of infrastructure? So the third source of infrastructure in mountain terrains where roads cannot be constructed, where railways cannot push into that area, is what is called as the ropeways. So making use of or building an alternative infrastructure via the ropeway in the mountain region is what is called as the Parvatmala initiative. So the Parvatmala initiative makes sure that we construct the ropeways in mountain regions under the public private partnership. So this basically aims to decongest the mountain areas where road and train connectivity cannot be upgraded any further. So what are the advantages? This will be economical mode of transportation. So the per kilometer cost for ropeways is more when compared to roadways. However, given that ropeways are constructed in a straight line over a hilly area, it reduces the cost related to land acquisition. Therefore, the cost of ropeway projects may happen to be lower or economical. This also is the faster mode of transportation. Ropeways is an aerial mode of transportation and may prove to be faster than roadway projects. Environmentally friendly as well. Dust emissions are lower. Material containers can be designed in such a way so as to avoid damage to the environment, and this can also offer last mile connectivity as well. So there are as many as 150 proposals from numerous states in India, and there are about 30 priority points. Let's say for example, in Ladakh region, Uttarakhand, Nandi Hills in Karnataka, Mahakaleshwar temple in Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh, so on and so forth. So there have been some priority points that have been selected, and the project will be executed in these points as well. What are the other benefits? Ideal for difficult and sensitive terrain. This is economically good as well. It also offers flexibility. A ropeway helps in simultaneous transport of different types of material through its network, ability to handle large slopes as well, and it also has low footprint given the narrow based vertical supports that are required at intervals. It leaves the rest of the ground free, making it possible for ropeways to be constructed in built up areas and in places where there is immense competition for the land use. So we do not require much of the land for this. So in all these mountain places, what we will get is connectivity, what we will have is eco-friendly nature, and what we will have is cost efficiency because of this alternative development of ropeway infrastructure. It is this that we have to understand with respect to this topic. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.